SpaceX may mint a new generation of wealth. But the real question is, who gets locked out? There is growing speculation surrounding what could become one of the most anticipated IPOs in modern financial history, SpaceX. And if or when it happens, let's be honest, institutional money will likely be waiting at the front door before the average person even refreshes their brokerage app. That's the game. Private equity, connected capital, preferred access, pre-IPO positioning. The wealthy almost always arrive before public enthusiasm fully kicks in. But here's the part BWO is interested in. What if the real opportunity is not merely SpaceX itself, but the surrounding ecosystem rising around it? Because historically, transformational industries rarely create only one winner. Fortunes are often made in infrastructure, communications, semiconductors, AI systems, robotics, logistics, cybersecurity, orbital support systems, data infrastructure. In other words, the picks and shovels surrounding the gold rush. And this is precisely where ordinary investors and historically overlooked communities may still find openings. The IPO most people probably won't fully access. Let's keep it real. Most people are not going to receive privileged IPO allocations. That's not cynicism. That's structure. By the time many retail investors gain meaningful access, some of the earliest upside may already be priced in. But the deeper conversation may actually involve the adjacent industries connected to the expansion of the aerospace economy itself. Because SpaceX is bigger than rockets, a lot of people still mentally reduce SpaceX to Elon Musk launches rockets. That is an enormous misunderstanding. SpaceX intersects with satellite communications, AI infrastructure, autonomous logistics, robotics, defense systems, telecommunications, orbital manufacturing, navigation systems, military infrastructure, space-based data economies. This is not merely an aerospace company. This is potentially the architecture of a future industrial layer. And whenever industrial layers shift, adjacent wealth opportunities emerge. The angles few people are discussing everybody is going to talk about: rockets, Mars, Starlink, Elon headlines, valuation numbers. But some less discussed speculative angles may involve semiconductor and AI infrastructure companies. Modern aerospace systems increasingly depend on AI computation, simulation systems, autonomous navigation, predictive analytics, satellite data interpretation, meaning companies tied to GPS, AI infrastructure, advanced semiconductors. Industrial robotics could quietly become indirect beneficiaries of aerospace expansion. The space economy may actually become an AI economy wearing a rocket suit. Another overlooked area? Cybersecurity. As satellite infrastructure expands, so does cyber warfare risk, communications vulnerability, orbital espionage, infrastructure targeting. Future conflicts may involve satellite disruption and communications interference, meaning cybersecurity firms with aerospace and government exposure may quietly become critical infrastructure. And then there's insurance and risk infrastructure. As private aerospace expands, somebody must insure launches, payloads, satellites, orbital liability, catastrophic risk exposure. That industry may quietly become enormous, and almost nobody in mainstream retail discourse is discussing it. The bigger BWO, is not interested merely in hype cycles. We are interested in systems, ownership, infrastructure, capital literacy, institutional awareness. Historically, many underrepresented communities have often entered transformational industries late. After narratives are established, after institutions consolidate, after wealth concentration has already occurred. That cycle must change. And frankly, one thing BWO intends to normalize is the idea that ordinary people should not automatically assume these conversations are above them or reserved exclusively for institutional investors. Because whether people like it or not, the next decade may produce entirely new industrial aristocracies around AI, robotics, biotech, orbital infrastructure, autonomous systems, aerospace, ecosystems. The larger question isn't about SpaceX's value, but what entire economic ecosystem may emerge around it. And perhaps more importantly, who participates in ownership before the entire machine becomes financially inaccessible? That's the deeper conversation, and we're actually having a much more detailed discussion right now over at the BWO Discourse site regarding several publicly traded companies and adjacent sectors that could potentially benefit from the continued expansion of the aerospace and orbital economy. The link is in the video description. That's a conversation BWO intends to keep having.